moment of truth.
Hello.
Oh my god. We're here.
We're here.
Oh, weird. Oh, hang on. I'm
A
getting
lot of feedback.
delays going on. There we go. Oh, how's everyone doing? Oh, have we got sound?
Oh, there's such a long delay. I can't hear you.
Yeah, there's
no.
like a 5 second. Hasn't.
We're gonna have to try. What should we do? Should we try again?
We're getting slight feedback. What feedback are we getting? Are we getting? Oh.
Mysterious. If I say hello, Thomas, what's the delay going on?
The delay for me on the Zoom is not very long. It's
yeah, the delay on the Zoom is fine.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, it seems reasonable. I think so. Got multiple screens setups going on.
Okay. Audio sound good now?
It's good for us. Like we can hear each other fine.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. Well, I think everything's working now. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves.
So I'll be cheeky and go first. Hello, streamers. My name's Christopher Dean. I'm a postdoctoral research fellow at the University of Birmingham. I mostly work on fossil record bias and issues with the quality of the fossil record through time. And that has led me to work with invertebrates and pterosaurs and most recently some dinosaurs. And I'm also joined by some of my other University of Birmingham colleagues. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves as well.
Which of us wants to go first? I'll go first.
Yeah, ladies first, of course.
So get out of here with that. Hi, I'm Emma. I'm also at the University of Birmingham doing a postdoc. I look at vertebrate diversity through time. I primarily now work on dinosaurs, but I did used to work on reptiles like early tetrapods and other amphibians like that. And yeah, I am the worst dino nerd in the world, but I did pull out my only dinosaur t-shirt for this. So that is the extent of my nerdiness in dinosaur terms.
My name's Thomas Clements. I am a experimental taphonomist. So I'm a paleontologist who's interested in understanding how animals turn into fossils. I predominantly do not work on dinosaurs in any form or matter.
Get out of here.
I mean, I'm not lying.
At least you're not trying to fabricate it.
So we had before we joined, we were discussing what we could discuss, and I think one of the first things that Thomas brought up was the could we use a significant portion of our time to talk about how rubbish dinosaurs are, or would we get chucked off the stream?
I think it's an important conversation that we have to have about how for the whole of geological time, let's not focus on one group. But I don't think that's the point of being here, especially seeing as you're wearing a dino onesie.
I know this was a last minute addition. I was going to suggest that if we raised over a certain amount of money, I'd put it on, but it's actually quite comfortable, so I just put it on straight from the beginning. Nice way to start Saturday afternoon. Yeah, I don't know. So we've got just over half an hour. Have a little chit chat. If anyone has any questions in chat, please pop them in there. We will do our best to answer them, be they scientific, be they stupid.
Also, you guys can go overtime because the next slot is just my slot, so, and it's just art shenanigans, so you guys can go over time to make up for lost time if you'd like.
Okay, it's very kind.
We'll see how bad the train wreck is, and if the train can't be stopped, then we'll just plow through. But I think it's also important to say that the reason that we are here is to raise money for a really good cause. So make sure that you're donating, and in the chat there's some information about that. So make sure you send a receipt of your donation.
Yeah, and thanks so much for the organisers for pulling this together. You've managed to, in a very short space of time, get like an enormous range of paleo people involved. It's a really nice. It's a nice showing of community spirit in troubling times. So, congratulations, and I really hope that this continues to raise a lot of money over the rest.
That would be my choice, and I think they're cute. I know they're like really ubiquitous, but I really like them. I think they're cute.
There's amazing, there's amazing specimens of them at the AMNH. The little growth series of the Protoceratops looks they're pretty cute, pretty small.
You shaking your head, Thomas? Then go on.
So just so you guys know, it looks like we dropped for a bit, but I think we're back.
Oh no!
The lag is like, yeah, I don't know what's happening. Stream, they're saying stream is good for them now, but I guess it dropped for a bit. I don't know.
It's Christine. He's absolutely cursed, everyone. So, I mean, I don't know what people missed, but basically one of the most important things we need to talk about is that we stopped Chris from giving a full PowerPoint presentation. Like, that's all you missed.
You should donate.
You need to donate money to stop Christine from giving you a PowerPoint presentation.
Chris's PowerPoint presentations are normally amazing, just saying, but Saturday is not the day for a presentation.
So if you don't donate enough, I'm going to go into my spiel about fossil record time binning, and then you'll all be out. It'll be game over.
Just be like me and you, like, oh yeah, really important.
Oh god.
And Thomas, we've just heard that Emma's favourite dinosaur is Protoceratops. Thomas, would you like to tell us yours?
Ooh. So I think that if I had to choose a dinosaur from the British Isles, it would be Baryonyx, because it's pretty iconic, it's cool. I like that it's like not a T-Rex like predator in the fact that it's like got this long snoot. But I think if I'm being brutally honest, I am a bit of a herbivore kind of guy. So I think I would probably go for either a Pachycephalosaur or maybe a Parasaurolophus. Probably.
Nice.
You've just chosen 3 dinosaurs with the funnest names to pronounce as well.
They're the ones that I can pronounce. All the rest of them, I'm out.
Chris?
I have two choices. Actually, I can show you something very cool.
Aren't you dressed as one of them?
I wish.
Hello, my name's Dr. Christopher Dean, and I came dressed up as my favourite dinosaur.
So my I think it's in the cupboard. My number 1 favourite dinosaur. I sent my partner on a mission to get something related to it.
I didn't know we were allowed helpers.
Yeah.
What's this? Stream helpers.
Is Caudipteryx. Because I was like, as a dinosaur obsessed child, I recorded TV programs. I think it was BBC Horizon's documentary, and I had it on tape, and I used to rewatch it. And there was the one about feathered dinosaurs in China. So this was like in the mid 90s when all this stuff was kicking off. Caudipteryx was one of the ones that I was one of the ones that they were like, this shows that dinosaurs were evolved into birds, blah 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 blah. And I thought it was amazing, and it was so beautiful, and I'd never seen anything like it. So Caudipteryx is like my number 1. Otherwise, no, I think just Caudipteryx. But in our first year of dating, my partner made me a Christmas stocking with a Caudipteryx on it.
Oh my goodness, that's so cool!
And that is how we knew it was meant to be.
Yeah, look at it. There's even a little bug.
Oh my god!
Very accurate Mesozoic foliage.
So not only do you have a helper, but this is now show and tell. This is outrageous. Like you did not tell the rest of us on the stream that is what was going to happen.
So there we go.
Can I add another dinosaur to my list of favorite dinosaurs?
Thomas, you do what you wish.
So I would like to introduce to people on the stream chat who aren't aware of it, but I would like to introduce a small bipedal Triassic Scottish dinosaur called Soltepus. And Soltepus is really cute. Here's a little picture of Soltepus. But the reason why I chose Soltepus as one of my favorite dinosaurs is because it's such a crap fossil. It's like the worst fossil you've ever seen. It's like a flattened smudge on a rock. And I implore you to Google Soltepus fossil, because as a taphonomist, it is one of my favorite bad fossils.
I think I remember this.
Yeah.
This is is this the one did Davide put it in the talk the other day?
This was the one that was in the talk the other day, yeah. It's like a smushed stain. Like it's just absolutely, I don't want to swear on the live stream, but it is utterly crap.
Yeah, that is really bad. Can I post links into the chat? There we go. Can I post a picture? No, I can't post a picture.
I'll hold it up I'll hold it. Look at this! Look at that! That's it.
So rubbish.
That is it. Best fossil dinosaur of all time.
I have a fondness for terrible fossils, though.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to interrupt here, but Grand Arbiter of Taste in the chat is gone full philosophical. If you think about it, we are all just smudges on the cosmic rock of life.
Wow. Poetic.
He followed it up with #deep. So there you go. That was done.
So we do have a question. We do have a question for Thomas and crew. How should an animal, dinosaur, die in order to have the best possible chance of becoming a fossil? What preserves bone the best?
Oh my god.
Well,
welcome to my world.
And this is from Chelsea Hostetter.
Chelsea Hostetter. Great question. Thank you for the donation.
Can I just point out the chat of someone saying step 1, die?
And that is not step 1. Step 1 is exist. You have to exist in order to become a fossil. Then step 2 is that we have to die. Actually, so this is basically what I study for a living. So I study the processes, the geological processes that happen from the minute an organism dies all the way up until becoming a fossil. And that science, for those of you who aren't aware of that, is called taphonomy. And that comes from the Greek, with taphos, which means burial, and the onomy means the study of. So it's very long and complicated, and it is it's very difficult to become a fossil. It's very, very difficult to become a fossil. So there's no actual data on it, but conservative estimates estimate that 99.9% of all life that's ever existed has not become a fossil. And the reason for that is you need very special conditions to become a fossil. So in Yellow Panda, do you need a PhD to become a fossil? Harsh, but yes. Yeah, so basically there are some if you die in a normal environment, you just get destroyed by bacteria and scavengers, and so you don't become a fossil. So you basically just need conditions which stop that from happening. So you need to be buried in an environment with lots of sediment, and you need to be buried quickly. And if there's no oxygen in that environment, then that's good too, because that slows down the respiration of bacteria. And then you need lots of minerals in that environment. So things like being buried in mud flows and being buried by ash flows, things like that. So that's generally, as a rule of thumb, how you become a fossil. Do you guys want to add anything? Because I realize I'm just rambling about my favorite science now.
No, I was actually going to say this links on quite nicely to one of the topics that Emma and I look at quite a lot. Obviously, things become fossils in different ways in different places, that also means that we know a lot more about some organisms than we do about other organisms because of either the places that they lived or because of their construction. So for instance, shells, bivalves, mollusks, whatever, anything with a hard shell preserves pretty easily. Whereas something like an octopus or a jellyfish, all soft-bodied, is not going to preserve as well because it just doesn't. So we naturally know a lot more about some groups of animals than others, but this also applies globally as well. So we know a lot more about animals that lived in shallow marine environments than we do about ones that lives on top of mountains, because any animals on top of the mountains are going to not be preserved as well because they're in an eroding environment. So these are all examples of fossil record biases. So places where we have systematic gaps in the fossil record due to either human influences or geological influences. So a human one would be, we've discovered most animals in most fossils in North America or Europe. And that's not because that's where the most fossils are, it's because it's where we've been looking for them the longest in a geopolitically stable environment, and we've had the resources and the money to go and be able to do that. So when you combine all these things together, we actually have a really skewed view of the history of life and how diversity has changed over time. And that's really problematic because we want to have a good understanding of that to be able to understand how animals respond to things like climate change, why extinctions happen the way they do, and use that information in our currently changing world. So Emma and I, in slightly different ways, look at diversity signals through time and try to correct for some of these fossil record biases. So, Emma, do you want to add anything else to that?
Just one cool thing, that if people want to have a look at this, you can you can just go on to the webpage for the paleobiology database and have a look at their navigator tool. It shows you where fossils have been recorded throughout the world, and you can really see clear biases to the global north, but also to North America in particular, and Europe, particularly Central Europe. So yeah, it's well worth having to check out if you are so inclined. I noticed on the chat that one person was Saturday is the day for the presentation, for PowerPoint presentations. So instead of a PowerPoint presentation, go onto the Paleobiology Database website and have a look there. It'll fulfill your academic needs for a Saturday.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. You can go and see what kind of fossils have been found near you. It's quite exciting.
And then the interesting thing as well is that paleontology, so I study. Chris, can you add the PVDB link into the chat? Someone is asking.
I put it in. It's
nice.
Under the bit where it says taphonomy hype.
Oh no, it gave it as stars. It said it gave it as stars. I can't see it. You might have to put spaces between the dot and the comma and whatnot.
Okay. This is Paleo BioDB.
The American spelling.
Yeah.
Non-mods can't post links. There you go. So you have to put spaces. So yeah, the other thing as well that we should talk about very quickly, which is following on from Chelsea's question, which is, by the way, great question, is so when we talk about dinosaurs, especially because paleontology is very dino-centric, we often talk about bones and we talk about mineralization of bones. So how does a bone turn into rock? Well, basically rock minerals will grow inside those bones over geological time when everything else has decayed away, which is really cool. But actually, that's a really small part of taphonomy. And one thing that I'm very interested in, and what my PhD was on, and what I work on now, is understanding how soft tissues can become fossils. And I study things like fossil octopuses and things like the Tully monster from Illinois, these are squishy animals. They have no bones. And we're trying to work out how they turn into fossils. But even in dinosaurs, we find some pretty cool soft tissues. So we find fossilized skin, and we find fossil muscles. And, just for a second, think about how mind-blowing it is that something that rots can last for millions and millions of years. And so my entire research is just looking at those things. And there are so many different ways that you can preserve those tissues. But basically, it involves very, very, very special conditions and minerals to replace. Oh, what's that?
It's the AMNH mummified hadrosaur that preserves skin and all these other bits.
Yeah. So let's talk about that for a split second, and let's talk about how upset I get when I hear the word mummified. Okay? Because that fossil not and has not been mummified. So mummification is an artificial process that is done by human beings. So human beings mummify things. We dry things out, we remove their internal organs to stop them rotting, and then we embalm them. That animal, the hadrosaur, I'm not 100% au fait with the hadrosaur, but I assume it was probably buried in a very fine-grained sediment very quickly, and that slowed decay to the point where its skin tissue either was replaced by minerals, or in most dinosaur mummies, they're actually like impressions, and the impressions have preserved. I don't know, because I haven't done any research on the hadrosaur, but it's not mummified. So please don't use the word mummified. It really upsets us, taphonomists. We get triggered.
I will refrain from doing so in the future.
It's okay. I had literally so we have a Paleo Discord which we run, which you're all welcome to join, by the way. Everyone is welcome to join the Paleo Discord. We can put a link in the chat later. But we literally had like a 3-day conversation about why mummification is not, or either is or is not the right word. I got very upset.
This is the kind of technical detail that you need in paleontology. Get annoyed over very specific definitions of things.
Well, they're very different things.
No, this is true. Yeah. So
sorry, I killed the conversation. We were having such a great conversation.
You did.
And then I went on a rant about mummification. Sorry. I'll just leave.
No, that was good. That was a good series of questions. Thank you very much for the question, and I hope that was a roundabout way of answering some of it.
Yeah, great question. Yeah. Drawing dinosaurs in the chat wrote taphonomification. That upsets me. I don't know. I can't even say it. I'm so upset.
Got too many F sounds in it.
Yeah, actually, so here's oh yeah, I'll post the Discord link before I forget. So don't forget to donate, everyone, please. Yep. Keep donating. But here's a good word for those for people. So when you're studying oh my god, people are so taphonomy is the study of how an animal becomes a fossil, but there is an entire field of taphonomy called biostratinommy. It's so hard to say. Which is basically studying just what happens to the animal immediately after death, before burial. So if you were, one really good example that we can talk about, which is Emma's favorite dinosaur, is Protoceratops. There's a very famous Protoceratops fossil that is locked in combat with a velociraptor. So if you were to study the interaction between those two animals, you are a biostratinomist. I'm out.
Drop the mic.
Drop the mic. Hold on, let me post the Discord link before I forget.
If we're going to get really pedantic, I'd like to drop in with a bit about the paleobiology database, that if anybody is looking at the map or has looked at the map of showing where fossils have been located, it's very strictly just those that have been recorded in the database. So we have these massive layers of removing information that we have to work with when we're looking at diversity through time. So not only do we have to have the animal existing, fossilized, preserved, found, collected, identified, and then put in a museum that can be used, published on, then recorded in the database. And any of those layers, something could go wrong, any layer, or one of those layers could be completely removed, which means the others don't happen. So if you're looking at the database, there are only the ones that have been recorded in the database. There might be loads more that are not there. So if you're that way inclined, do sign up to enter data if it's something you'd like to do. I'm not peddling it, but I do have slight biases in that data is really important. But yeah, so we have so many different layers of things that can be, or things that can happen to remove that data from any of our analyses that we do. So that's kind of what Chris and I mainly work on. I work a little bit downstream, whereas Chris actually tries to help the problem. I try to brush that under the rug with statistics and then try and work with what's left.
No, it's kind of fascinating. It's almost like a big filtering system, right? Like you can kind of imagine that you've got the big biosphere as like one big thing, and it kind of goes doop, 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 and the actual the percentage of information we get out is tiny.
Tiny.
And so it's just making sure that the proportions that you get from that original thing are taken up in the tiny little grain of information that we get as paleontologists. But that's it's kind of nice. It's kind of like a big puzzle.
Yeah, it's kind of poetic and like almost romantic that you have this tiny, tiny little window into these worlds that like you couldn't even fathom existed. And like that's kind of why I like paleo. Like I was never going down the paleo route. Wasn't a dinosaur nerd as a kid. Definitely like I'm really playing catch up in like knowing dinosaur names and all that kind of stuff. But like just that romantic aspect of paleontology that you're looking at, like basically through a pinhole, is really fascinating.
A taphonomic
or it is pinhole. For me. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like it's like windows, right? It's these tiny little windows into a world that no longer exists.
So we used to play a game when I was writing my PhD, which was that every time you read a taphonomy paper where they said that exceptional preservation is a window into the past, every time you read that, like you had to take a shot of vodka. And I tell you now,
my God.
It makes writing very difficult. Because every scientific paper says, exceptional preservation is a window into the past.
I feel like there's definitely a drinking game in like diversity papers as well.
Oh yeah, like the opening 3 lines of every diversity paper is written in exactly the same way.
Yeah,
is it like
for every time
you have to write it though to get it published, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of the deal. It's when you sign your deal with the devil to hand over your work to a publisher, part of the deal is that you have to include a very bog standard intro.
So there's loads of people in the chat who are riffing on a lot of the long terminology. Like Grand Arbiter of Taste, this is a great comment. It said you should just call it what happens to the animal after death but before burial studies to keep it simple and easy. I like your style. The problem is that when you spend 3 or 4 or 5 years doing a PhD, you have to know these long words to make yourself feel important. because
that's basically the only reason.
Yeah.
When you do a PhD, you realise how little you know and how nothing. You have such a small idea of what's going on. You're like, right, well, I need something. You've got to give me.
The reason why I like these words are important, I think, in another way, is because the amount of time that I like get introduced to someone or meet someone, and they say, "Oh, so what do you do?" And I say, "I'm a paleontologist," and they go, "Ooh, like Indiana Jones," and I'm like, "I'm sorry, what?" So now I've just started saying I'm an experimental taphonomist, and most people just stop talking to you at that point, and it's great.
Yeah. Or it's like when you get people who are like asking you about your job and you say paleontologist and they immediately twig, oh, like Ross from Friends. Oh. And I sometimes kind of get pulled off guard because sometimes they're like really young and I'm like, do you watch Friends still? Is this still a thing?
Can we talk for a second about how bad a paleontologist Ross is from Friends?
Oh, well, he works on like 50,000 different things as well. His PhD was on something about saber-toothed cats, and then
I thought his PhD was on sedimentology.
Was it? I thought
there's a scene where he's talking about rivers.
Oh, maybe.
I'm very confused. He's also at one point doing. Oh, no, we have an opinion on this, I believe.
Chat is instantly there. Oh damn, you're speaking about Ross Geller. Yes. # Lord and Savior. Like, let's not forget as well that this is a man who tried to bribe someone with a pterosaur egg. Like, ethically, he's shot. He's out. We don't like him.
My absolute all-time favorite scene in Friends is where Ross and Chandler are talking, and one of them calls botanist boring, and then Chandler, I think it was Ross, calls botanist boring, and then Chandler's immediately in there like paleontologist, and he does the dinosaur snort to his tie or something. I fucking love that scene. Language. Sorry. Did did you see something in the comments there, or what were you like explaining?
Yes, I saw the comments absolutely hit me perfectly in the feels. It was, oh damn, you're talking about Ross Geller, and then Ross Goss, and then someone hashtag trash.
Heavy hitting.
Oh dear. Yeah, I still don't know. I'm trying to find out what his PhD thesis was titled, but
I thought it was something on saber-toothed tigers, because there's the episode where he goes to the library to see if anyone's ever taken out his book, and he finds out where people shag because no one wants to go and read about paleontology.
Yeah. But he definitely does a lot of anthropology as well, because he studies, like, he does stuff. I remember this one episode where he's doing like an exhibition and it's all sort of early
it's like
humans.
it is. Yeah, I don't actually know. There's plenty of articles online about this.
I've just found it here. So here, Ross Geller's big break as a paleontologist was actually a sedimentology study. Now, so this I feel is quite unfair, actually, because that's effectively what I do. Like, my entire field is the interaction between sedimentology and paleontology. Like, we combine together in geochemistry. So I don't think we should be ragging on him for being a sedimentologist. It's an important part of the paleontological process, people.
I do agree with that. What did it give you any other information about what this big break?
No, I can't find what his thesis was, but I do remember it very distinctly.
Guess we're just gonna have to watch Friends repeats.
No, please don't. I really no. Oh well. He was very young when he got tenure. Fair play to him. He was like under 30.
He's a fictional character, Thomas.
Well, yeah, but even so, like, it shows on expectations of paleontologists in the media, doesn't it?
Yeah, we all work in museums. We all wear like just certain kind of clothes. Like, some of it is true, right? But most of it is not.
Oh man, I've just found there's a random link to a video and it's titled "Ross imitating Velociraptor," and he's doing the Dilophosaur. So not only is it wrong on the sense that the Dilophosaurus didn't have a neck frill, and now on top of that they've called it a Velociraptor. Oh.
So insulting.
So insulting. Anyway, maybe we should move on from
Do we have? Is anyone else? If anyone else has any questions about anything, we
have to donate for the questions.
No questions yet. So if someone wants to donate and ask a question, please do.
Yes, please donate. It's a really good cause.
If you donate, I'll show you my 2 pet rabbits that we've got. Very cute.
They're not fossils.
They're not fossils. They're very much alive. They're hiding at the moment, but I might be able to coax them out with a sultana.
While we are waiting on a question to come in, I think it's really funny that we were talking before we came on about things that we could talk about, and all 3 of us spend most of our time doing research inside, mostly on our laptops. But we all have had like particularly fun fieldwork moments. So do any of you want to share your favorite fieldwork memory or anything like that? I know, Thomas, you've had an interesting time in America with some of your fieldwork.
I've had a lot of interesting stories. I don't know how many Americans are on chat, and I really don't want to insult people by doing poor accents. But yeah, I've had some very interesting encounters in Illinois, which is... I always, maybe this is a UK thing, but I always thought of Illinois as quite a, like, I don't know, I just thought of it as a very normal, safe place to be, but it's quite, like, rural Illinois is very, it was hit very hard by the economic depression, so, like, industry is massively declined, and it's a very interesting place to do field work, actually, because the disparity between the incredible rich wealth in Chicago and the poverty in some areas in Illinois is very startling. I was quite shocked by that, actually. But yeah, field work is wild. Lots of people shooting at me, and all sorts of randomnesses. Getting sued, that was quite exciting.
When did you get sued?
I got well. So I went. I was collecting. I don't know if I should say this in a public forum. I'll probably get put in some sort of prison or something. But I was collecting fossils on. Well, I wasn't collecting fossils. I was actually collecting rock samples from an area, and we'd asked the landowner for permission, and they'd granted us permission, and we were collecting on the land. And then about 3 weeks after I got back, I got a letter in the post saying they were suing me for stealing fossils. I was like, okay. Yeah. So I'm still terrified every time I enter America through customs, but I haven't been stopped yet, and I have entered America quite a few times since that time.
So we do have another question.
Oh.
From Jack Wood. Anyone can give me an answer if they have one, but with regards to taphonomy, what's your ideal find? What's the dream specimen? Also, shout out to UOB.
UOB.
Nice.
Ooh, good question. What's your answer to that? I want to know the non-taphonomist's answer.
I do too, actually. So, Chris, I'd be very interested to hear what you have to say, because I know what Thomas has to say.
Ideal find.
My ideal find is lots of fossils. I know that's not the answer you want to hear, but one thing that we can't figure out from the fossil record very easily is just how many there were, because we only find and then describe and then talk about individual really cool, like very unique fossils. So we don't really have an idea of what the underlying population looked like a lot of the time. So for me, it would be a lot of boring fossils. That's my answer. Lots and lots of boring fossils, please. Chris, what about you? What do you think?
I think I would want a Lagerstätten in the global south for like the Mesozoic, maybe across the JK boundary. So if anyone doesn't know, Lagerstätten is a great word that means the mother lode in German, I think.
I mean, storage place.
Is it a storage place?
It translates to storage place.
Okay.
But mother lode is a great.
I won't believe that.
But basically, it describes sites that are either exceptionally preserved in terms of the quality or the quantity of organisms that have been found. So it's concentrat or was it concentrat or conservat?
Conservat. Yeah.
And so we've got them all around the world. There's loads in the UK, in America, and China. Places like the Jehol in China with the feathered dinosaurs are a really good example. Or the Lias in the UK, preserving all the ichthyosaurs and bits and pieces could be referred to as Lagerstätten. Or the Messel pit in Solnhofen limestone where the Archaeopteryx is from. But as far as I'm aware, there aren't any Lagerstätten that have been there aren't many Lagerstätten from the global south. There haven't really been many that, especially in terms of places like in Africa or South America. I mean, there are some in South America, but
yeah, there are some like dinosaur ones in South America, aren't there?
Yeah, but
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there is a fireworks display happening outside my window right now. I'm kind of freaking out. Like, what? It's the middle of the day.
3 p.m.
You're not getting enough bang for your buck if you're firing fireworks. Anyway, sorry, Chris. I'm very sorry.
No, it's fine. I think, so I think, I mean, especially, if someone's put in the chat about Triassic Lagerstätten, now that's 100% accurate. Like, there's so many questions that we have as paleontologists about how a bunch of these kind of major archosaur groups got established in the early, mid, and late Triassic that we just don't have any clue about. Like, we have such a limited idea on what the first pterosaurs look like or how they evolved. And until we get some Lagerstätten found that can cover those time periods, then we're a bit screwed, really. So there's lots of places
that we can look, right? Like in Africa, there's lots of places which are currently unexplored, geologically speaking.
But that raises interesting questions.
And I was just about to say, and then the interesting conversation here is the ethics and, how as a science do we progress in that field? And I think that's a conversation which is very pertinent at the moment, especially with what we're talking about for the donations. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's a real big thing. It's a real kind of elephant in the room of paleontology that no one really talks about is the fact that at its heart, a lot of it is deeply colonial, in the fact that and deeply extractive, in the fact that we will go to countries, we'll find fossils, we will extract them, normally remove them from the country, and bring them back to house in collections that then white Western researchers continue to use for years and years. And so breaking that cycle is going to be a big, I think it should, and I hope it will be a big focus of paleontology in the next 20 to 30 years, because there really needs to be a better idea of how we can carry out paleontological research in an ethical way that supports science, but also supports local people in countries where we might be doing this work.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you said that really. It's such an important topic, and we need to be discussing this kind of stuff openly and talking about how, you know, moving away from this parachute science where we jump into an area, take what we want, and then leave. And we need to be bringing everyone up together and training everyone so that we all, as a global community, can push forward with paleo. Absolutely.
And there's surprisingly little research done on this stuff as well, right? I think that's part of the issue, is that we're working with a lot of we know something's wrong, but maybe we haven't done the research yet to know how to fix it. So that's kind of an interesting point in itself as well.
As somebody who does do fieldwork in Africa and is part of an international team, majority of us are white and majority of us are coming from the likes of America, the UK, Europe, and swanning into our site in South Africa and working still with local people, but the majority of people who are academic are still white. So while you're joining the local people and you're working with people who are there on the ground and know a vast amount more than you do about the area, you're still working with a white establishment when it comes to publishing and working in museums and universities later on. So there is a lot of work to do there. It's small steps and people need to be paying attention to it. It's so easy to get caught up in the logistics of getting there, getting it done, what you're going to do, how important it is, all that kind of stuff.
The excitement of it.
Exactly.
Right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's really fun to go and do field work. It's one of the best bits of paleontology.
Yeah. And you're right, there should be so much more done, both in the quantifying these kinds of impacts to then mitigate them. And it's frustrating to be sitting here and just having to talk about it when you just really want to get something done about it. But yeah, it's going to be a time thing, but I think it's very much doable someday in the future.
Yeah.
Which segues us nicely into make sure you donate.
Yeah.
Please keep the donations coming in.
I don't know if anyone's donated, we might be able to
get the bonds out. But I will change the topic of conversations back to the question a little bit, because you guys have said what fossils. So my big thing, my fossil that I would love to find is a fossil squid. Strap in, everyone, because another taphonomy rant is coming. No, so basically, in a nutshell, since the 1800s, we've known loads about fossil cephalopods, and there have been loads of fossil squids that were described. People like Richard Owen and Gideon Mantell, even Charles Darwin, all described fossil cephalopods as fossil squids. But in the 1980s, a group of German researchers looked at all of these fossil squids, and actually what they found was that they were all types of stem octopus. And so far, there have been no fossil squids found ever. There are no fossil squids in the entire world. Not a single squid sausage, zero. And there are potentially lots of reasons for this, taphonomic reasons. I wrote a paper a few years ago about octopuses and squids use different chemicals to maintain their buoyancy. And that's probably a big factor in why squids don't fossilize. Also, squids live in the water column. Octopuses tend to live along the bottom. But that's a bit of a silly argument, though, because stemmed octopuses, they also were free swimming. So there's lots of potential taphonomic reasons. But that being said, no fossil squids. So I would love to find a fossil squid. We know that they existed at the same time. We know from molecular clock analysis that they evolved, or they diverged around the same time. And we found fossil beaks, squid beaks, and we've also found other little fossil squid hooks and things, but still no soft-bodied fossil squids. So that's what I want to see. Someone has said squids are too tasty to even make it to burial. Jeez.
I
that is a taphonomic virus I did not identify in my paper. I will
write a paper on this. This is a new theory. I'm down.
Fossil calamari were too tasty snack. Om nom. So,
Thomas, I think you're forgetting about the giant squid that was found to have rearranged a load of ichthyosaurs. Okay. Neptune Moon Triton in chat has said, isn't it insane that we have millions of ammonite fossils in world collections and no soft part preservation? Yeah, it is insane, but it's not surprising because Chris has worked on shells and the preservation potential in the past, and they have a very high preservation potential. They don't decay, and they're very easily replaced by minerals, whereas the soft parts, ammonites probably had very similar buoyancy regulation to squids, and so there's basically no soft tissues preserved. There are some ammonite putative soft tissues. There are some very questionable eggs that have been preserved, and I believe that there's a stomach crop which is known, but as far as I know, that's the only soft tissue. No arms preserved. Someone in chat has asked, are there any arms? No arms. We do not know how many arms an ammonite had, or an ammonoid we should say, but we can phylogenetically bracket them, and we can estimate they probably had about 10 arms, because that is sort of, if you look at all the rest of the squid families, all the cephalopod families, ammonites probably had 10 arms. But yes, so actually, yeah, all right, fine. Ammonite soft tissues would be pretty amazing as well. If you found some ammonite soft tissues, squid soft tissues, cephalopod soft tissues, please. Thank you. Thomas a call.
It's over.
Nice.
I'm going to add in there, when you talk about...
Look at all this dinosaur information we're talking about, guys.
I'm going to go even further beyond dinosaurs to not even animals anymore. One thing that I would really like to see is more plant fossils and more about like the ecosystems and the environments that these animals were living in. And it's such an understudied area of paleontology. Nobody thinks about the paleobotany, and it's really important.
It's also, I mean, it is a very, I don't know if people are aware of how tricky paleobotany can be. But so obviously, you know, with animals, you know, you might preserve part of the spinal column or a limb bone. You might be like, okay, I think it might be this, and then maybe another time you found that limb bone and a bit more, and you're like, oh, I can link these two things together. We get a better idea of this animal. Obviously, that is sometimes, you know, it's sometimes possible to get a full, complete skeleton, but to get a complete tree is just not possible. Like, you cannot get the roots. You know, the full scale of it is so difficult / impossible to get. So there's this issue of paleobotany. You're looking at leaves and you're looking at bark and you're like, well, I don't know if these two things actually add up. So getting an estimate on diversity or anything else is so complicated, and there's so much. Yeah, it's really, really tough. So my respect really goes out to paleobotanists, because they have to deal with quite a lot.
I like the way that when you were describing the paleobotany, you were like, the bark and the leaves, they're like the two easiest bits. Like, what about working on pollen? People who work on pollen, but they can literally identify to species level pollen. These people blow my mind. Like, firstly, the patience, secondly, like the knowledge, and thirdly, just I've tried picking microfossils, and I have a tremor, so I physically can't do it. Like, I fire them across the room. But imagine working on pollen.
I have a history of working on pollen. I used to be a paleontologist for my master's degree. It's like my hidden secret that I don't tell anybody about.
Emma, I don't think I even knew
I know.
What is this?
I looked at.
I think you need to officially remove like that badge from your shirt.
Like, don't worry. The best way of removing it is not publishing the paper, because it's really slow. But I used to work on a pollen genus called Aquilopollinites that appeared at the end of the Cretaceous. And one of the things that is great about pollen is that it's just so abundant. There's so much data. You can look at diversity really easily. It's really, really nice. There are the biases, like the regional and geographical biases that you normally see. But one thing about Aquilopollinites is we have no idea what it looked like. We know what it looks like as a fossil, but what plant it became, No idea. Literally no idea.
That's a good
which is really cool, but also like really annoying because you don't have any modern analogues. You don't know how important looking at its diversity is, other than like looking at it is really cool because it's great data. But yeah, so many fossils like that, so many pollen that you can't have an idea of what it looks like in life, let alone have a modern analog. It's triprojectate. So it's like in these weird like. Is it jacks? Were those toys that were like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like throw the ball down, you make them bounce.
Yeah, it looked like that. So it was like really super cool. We don't get those anymore, so we have no idea what it looks like.
Everyone always talks about how like Lego is the most painful thing to tread on. You've never trodden on a jack. Like those things were literally based on things that pirates used to fire on top of ships to like cripple people. That's a true story. Like caltrops. Look them up. They're scary. They just look like that. The little spiky guys. Anyway.
Mad.
But talking about taphonomy in plants, like
oh my God,
we do have another question. We do have another question from a donor. So, question for everyone: what is your favorite worst fossil record?
Ooh, what? That's a question. Favorite worst fossil record?
I know exactly what I'm going to say.
Well, go on then. Lead on, Macduff.
So, the late Cretaceous of North America is the staple time to talk about dinosaurs. It's got all your favorites. It's got your T-Rexes, your Triceratops, etc., etc.
Sorry, hold on. What is a T-Rex? I've never heard of that before.
History.
I'll see it there.
But basically, all of our dinosaur record of the late Cretaceous of North America comes from two stages. It comes from the Campanian and from the Maastrichtian, which is like the last 10, 12, may actually be a bit longer than that, last little chunk of the Cretaceous. The whole rest of the late Cretaceous from like, spans I think 44 million years, has like nothing. So these last two little stages contain 99% of the fossil occurrences of the whole of the late Cretaceous. And so we actually have a real terrible idea about how a whole bunch of these dinosaurs even ended up coming to the States, or how they evolved, how they dealt with the fact that the Western Interior Seaway flooded the continent halfway through that spell of time. There's so many interesting questions. Also, you just don't have any sauropods, which is wild because they're there for in the late Jurassic with the Morrison Formation, and then vanish for like millions of years and then come back right at the end. So there's so many questions that would be really interesting to ask about biogeography and how organisms respond to changing climatic conditions and sea level. And we have a terrible fossil record of it. We've just got a great fossil record of the last little bit. So that is my favorite worst fossil records, and I wish it was better. But who knows? Maybe we'll find some more stuff in the future.
Do you have an answer? Do you have an answer, Emma?
I don't think I have an answer. There's just so many things I want to say about like what's bad and what's good and all that kind of stuff. But the first thing that came to my mind when I was thinking of that question or trying to answer it was the Irish fossil record is hilarious. It's just so funny. It's like it has a lot of Silurian, Devonian, and Carboniferous stuff, and then it just stops because we don't have any younger rock than Carboniferous, and then we have a few like Pleistocene kind of stuff like big grizzly bears. Like this entire period of history is just missing like all the good bits. So nobody talks about paleontology in Ireland because it's just crap. It's really crap. Wow. I wish it was better, but there's nothing I can do about the rocks.
Say that to the blue ghost corals. Jeez.
I'm alright. If Lewis Jones is like listening to this, I can't stand coral fossils. I hope he's not listening.
Oh my! You have outed yourself on many occasions on this chat.
I shouldn't have logged on.
So I think that's a really fascinating question, though. If we just take a step back and look at the question, I think that's a fascinating question from just a general paleontological perspective, because I could turn the question around and ask, what is a good fossil record? Like, what has a good fossil record? And Emma and Chris have answered in two very different ways. So Chris has said, I would like to know about a biogeographical region. I'd like to know about what's happening in the whole of the Cretaceous for this period. And Emma has said, well, I'd like to know what's happening in Ireland for like several hundreds of millions of years. And then I could easily answer the question, well, going back to squids, like we just don't have a fossil record of squids. So, I mean, the answer to that question is that the fossil record is inherently bad on a geographical level. It's bad.
Oh, if we were writing a diversity paper right now, you'd be drinking.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
inherently bad.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, but what I wanted to say before I apparently became a cliched trope was that it is getting better all the time because we are understanding stuff, we are investigating, we're finding the right questions to ask, and because of the constant. Paleontology is a great science because we use cutting edge technology that crosses chemistry, physics, and biology, and because of that, like, massive increase of in technology, like, we're finding new ways to answer these difficult questions. So yes, we are finding mirrors into the past.
On point.
Yeah. So I think that is a really great question, but it's also like super hard to answer because, like, I would like from a personal perspective, I'd love to know more about what's happening in North America during the Carboniferous, like during the late Carboniferous especially. We have not everyone's heard. I should start that sentence again. Many people will have heard of the Maison Creek, which is a very famous North American fossil bed where the Tully monster came from. It's the state fossil of Illinois. It's a super famous fossil bed. But what a lot of people don't realize is that around the world at that point in the Carboniferous, those types of concretionary fossils are found everywhere. They're found in Russia, they're found in France, they're found in the UK, they're found in North America, they're found in South Korea. Again, going back to Chris's point earlier, we don't know if they're found in the global south because people haven't been looking, but almost certainly there will be, in Carboniferous deposits, there will be these type of fossils. Why? Like, my entire PhD was trying to answer that, and I still don't know. so yeah, there's loads of interesting questions. I'd like to know more about the end Carboniferous. And it was a really important time for Earth's history because it was when rainforests were collapsing, these huge global rainforests were collapsing, amphibians were starting to take over the land, and insects at this point were massive and were shrinking because the oxygen content of the planet was changing. So there's loads of fascinating. Carboniferous is pretty cool.
The question was so good that I'm going to be thinking about that tonight.
That's such a good question. That's such a good question. I reckon we could write it. We could probably write some sort of review series on that.
Can we drink while we're doing it? Because you had so many sentences there that I wanted to call you out.
The Carboniferous is a very useful window into the past.
And the fossil record is inherently biased, temporally and spatially.
By anthropogenic and geological factors.
Yes.
Stop it! Wait, we're halfway there.
That was a good. That's what we were arguing with Emma last time.
We've done our hour. I think we've done our hour. I feel bad that we might be eating into.
Oh no, we're stealing people's time.
So are we? I don't want to intrude for too long.
I don't believe we've even gone for a full hour yet.
Oh, have we not?
Chris, get back to work.
All right, but I don't want to be intruding on anyone else's time slot. If anyone has any final questions to this last little bit.
Well, Wood has written saying, "You've written my first year research product in a minute."
Yes.
Well, Wood, please donate to help out the cause. I would ask for a check made payable to me, but we're not here for that. So make sure that you donate, give a little bit of money to that you guys can afford to the great cause.
Yeah. And, Wood is actually what was one of the donors. He is one of our mods, and he sent one of the questions.
More donations.
More money.
I'm sorry.
And I don't know about Emma and Thomas, but I'm always happy to chat about this stuff. So if anyone has any questions, just you can find us all on Twitter. We're all on there.
Yeah.
On the various handles that we can always chuck in the chat afterwards. But yeah, if you have any questions
we do have one more question. Another question for everyone. What is your favorite Paleo Monster B movie?
Oh my goodness. Well, Jurassic Park is a B movie, right?
That is a triple A quality film. Not having any of this jib.
What is my favorite B movie? Oh man.
Is it embarrassing that I need to look up what a B movie is?
B stands for Brontosaurus movie.
A B movie's generally like a lower quality film.
Yeah, a low budget or
low budget
quality.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh man, I have no idea.
Isn't all paleontology movie content B rated?
I'm gonna jump in here and say I'm a big fan of any of the like old Toho Studios Godzilla films, especially was it Godzilla versus Space Godzilla is particularly great.
You're such a hipster.
It's Chris's kind of question.
I can't actually tell whether Christine answered that or Christine's mustache answered that.
Otherwise, if anyone's heard of Them, I think it's Them. It's the movie about giant ants, which is kind of paleo related, and that's amazing. I think that happens because they get caught in like a nuclear thing and become very big. But like that's big ants. That's kind of Carboniferous-y, isn't it?
Wait, no. When Crown Group ants, like they're like really late, aren't they? I don't even think. Wait, they're not even as far as No, Crown Group ants, like that's Cretaceous, surely. You're making me Google Crown Group ants now.
Crown Group is also the term that involves drinking. Sorry.
Yeah.
I've realized, having gone through the list of B-rated paleo movies on Google, I realized I've not watched any of them.
Emma hasn't seen many films.
No, I'm not a very film person.
So it seems like unless I'm wrong, because this is a very speedy Google, but it seems that Crown Group ants are Cretaceous. I don't know if that is correct. There's a lot of caveats because I literally Googled it, but that wouldn't surprise me. Like most like of the really big insect groups that we know today, like bees and things, are all pretty late. Here's a good pub quiz question for you, though. Randomly changing the topic is which in the Maison Creek. Can you name any crown groups that are first found in the Maison Creek? Of insects, I should say.
Tully? Is Tully an insect?
No!
No.
Tully is a vertebrate, we all know that.
Are you sure, though?
Come on.
The answer is cockroaches. Crown group placoids. Yeah. Yeah, they are first known from the Maison Creek.
I am learning so much today. B movies, Crown Group ants.
Sorry, I agree with Grand Arbiter. I think we need to organise a University of Birmingham Paleo B movie night. I think that would be pretty good.
It's quite niche.
Perfect.
What's the name of the? Oh man, my mind has gone so blank right now. Is it Harryhausen, the guy who did like Jason and the Argonauts with the skeletons?
Oh, that's so good.
He did a lot of famous like. Oh my god, I'm going to butcher all of these names, and people in chat are going to laugh at us. Like, there's one about like Valley of
Guanji, Valley of Guanji.
Yes, that's a Harryhausen, and that's a classic, isn't it?
Your host is a stop motion animator, so I've got that.
Nice.
So
there you go, nailed it.
Harryhausen, yes.
So yeah, he did the. What's the one where it's like stop motion and it's like cowboys versus dinosaurs?
That's Valley of Guanji.
Oh, is that one? Okay, that's the one I'm choosing then, because I remember that one. I remember that one from when I was a kid.
Yes.
Classic.
No.
There you
My answer to the question is I need a movie night, and I need to be looking at more of these films.
We can do that. We can do this.
I think we should totally do this.
I would love to see more invertebrate, like paleo movie, like because the Meg came out fairly recently, and that was like a big CGI Meg. Why can't we have like where big trilobites come out of the ocean, or like a giant like imagine all these like Lake Placid, you have all these American swimmers having a great time, and suddenly they go missing, and then it turns out that it's a lake full of tully monsters.
No, Yellow Panda's raised a very good point. Have either of you two seen Ponyo, the Miyazaki film? Because
I've heard of it though.
That features a whole section of is it the Devonian Ocean, and they have like all these things come back. It's amazing,
and
it's all in that beautiful animation style. That's maybe it's not really a B movie, but that is like a really nice bit of representation of paleo in the film.
Hey, have you heard about the Tully Monster prank that happened in the Field Museum?
No.
Have you heard about this? Okay, so just quickly for chat and for everyone, Tully Monster, State Fossil of Illinois. It's this weird 300 million year old animal. We're not really 100% sure what it is. I think it's a vertebrate. I have published that I think it's a vertebrate. Other people have published saying it can't be a vertebrate. That's not a debate we need to have right now, everyone. Basically, it's like a cigar-shaped thing. It's got a little tail fin. It's got eyes on stalks, and it's got a little elephant trunk-like proboscis with a little grasper. It's a weird fossil. It's so bizarre. And anyway, it was discovered by a fossil hunter whose surname was Tully, and he took it to the Field Museum and to a scientist there. And someone's written it's a cuter opobinia. Questionable, but yes. So he took it to the Field Museum, and he took it to the scientists who were working there, and they described it, and they weren't sure what it was. Oh, nice picture. It's definitely not a lamprey. And anyway, so these people published on it. Great. Someone at the Field Museum, and I don't want to say names because I might be wrong with the history, and I don't want to name names in case I get people into trouble. But someone thought it would be a really great idea to write a letter or pretend to be someone who was working in Africa. And he wrote a letter to the scientists working at the Field Museum saying that he was working as like a missionary or something in Africa, and that near Lake Tanganyika, and that he had seen Tully monster-like animals, and that whenever the full moon happened, all of these Tully monster animals would like pop out of the water, and they would do a little dance and like literally stick their proboscis up, and they would like, it was like a mating ritual. And he wrote this letter, and they had this long correspondence that went on for so long that the Field Museum actually started planning an expedition to go there to see if they could find it before it was revealed that it was a prank. And there's a book, it's a very old book, but there is a book written about this prank. Like, it's a legendary paleo prank.
That's good.
I've just been looking at the chat, and somebody's mentioned Deep Freeze, about an Antarctic trilobite movie, and after wading through some Google searches for replacement freezer shelves, finally found some pictures, and it actually looks really cool. I would totally watch this.
Deep Freeze. What other good paleo creatures would make like good film monsters? Like, because those big
anything like cynodonts or like any of those like late Permian, Triassic stuff, they're just weird and ugly.
Gorgonopsids.
Yes.
Because they were in the TV series Primeval, and they were actually really scary. I think there was like some weird alien from the future that tried to come back, and the Gorgonopsid killed it. Like, the Gorgonopsids were pretty hardcore.
Telchuk made good movie monsters.
Yeah. That's pretty true.
Somebody's mentioning Tully Monster plushies. I am all for every kind of paleo plushie that ever exists. And the fact that I didn't know that there was a Tully one, why don't we own one?
I had one. It was unfortunately destroyed by my previous university, which we won't mention the name of. Unfortunately, it was disposed of by accident, and I'm devastated.
We need to get another one.
Yeah, we need to replace that.
Yeah, I like... Basilosaurus would be a pretty good thing. Imagine a giant whale eating everything. That'd be pretty cool. So we always go for the biggest and scariest. I think it would be much better to have some sort of like really insidious, like, I don't know. Yes, thank you, Yellow Panda. It was a future bat. You are correct. Primeval, nailed it.
Oh, Primeval.
Like the likes of Ice Age, though, where everything is really cutesy and lovely, and like Diego could be like a horrible monster. Well, he kind of is, but it's really cutesy. Like, we could have like a really cute paleo movie thing as well. Like, it doesn't always have to be like scary and stuff. It's very much Jurassic Park.
That doesn't sell, does it?
I'd watch it.
Nice journey through the past.
Exactly. It's like that computer game that I always keep talking about that I've never actually played. It's like watching other people play it. Is it Abzu that has Diplocaulus and other like Tiktaalik in it?
That is such a good game. And it has lots of really cute little... I would love to see a Diplocaulus in real life. I would pay so much money to go back in time and just see a Diplocaulus. What the heck is going on with that guy? How does it... Like, what happens if it got stuck between two trees? Like, what happened then? Like, if it just popped its head through and then couldn't get back, like, what would it do?
Like a dog with a stick.
So the thing about Diplocaulus that blows my mind is, so it has this, like, triangular boomerang head with, like, this body. Did it have a flap of skin from the end? So did it actually look like a diamond for a head?
Some people, that's been suggested by people, right?
Has it?
It's actually like a support structure for like a broader thing, as opposed to just being like a weird boomerang.
Imagine if the ends of the boomerang and its arms were connected to make this like big flipper kind of thing. Like, that'd be kind of cool.
Maybe
I just love the idea somewhere that Diplocaulus hunted by going. And then
I think it's a glider.
Don't say that. Someone's going to quote you now. Christopher Dean. They're going to be like, Diplocaulus was a glider. Christopher Dean. Like, personal observations. Personal comms. Okay.
Nice.
Anyway. Yeah, so... I don't know.
Have we met our hour limit? Yeah.
I think we're over our hour limit.
I think
We're just going to keep going until we get kicked off.
No,
So it has been about an hour, but you guys can hang around if you'd like. We don't have our next speaker until the top of the hour. So we have 30 minutes until our next speaker.
Okay.
So it's up to you guys.
Was there supposed to be something else organized? Should we?
I just have an hour in between. I could draw, or you guys can just keep talking. It's fine, because I can draw later too. So
Can we do both?
That's might be doable.
Could we suggest things for you to draw?
Diplocaulus.
Perhaps.
I vote Diplocaulus.
Gliding.
Oh my gosh, yes! Diplocaulus. Oh dear. I'm trying to think of more prehistoric creatures that would make entertaining films about. I would love a film about time traveling paleontologists who go back to the end Permian and accidentally cause the mass extinction by sneezing and infecting all of the animals with this pathogen that they don't have, and they just accidentally cause the worst mass extinction that's ever happened.
This is like that episode of The Simpsons where Homer goes back in time and sneezes and kills all the dinosaurs.
Wipes out the dinosaurs. Yeah. But I think wouldn't it be such a good message if not good message, but wouldn't it be a powerful message if humans caused the worst mass extinction of all time again?
Twice.
What about something like Finding Nemo but make it Cambrian? No, you're not buying.
Finding Morella.
Yeah.
Just a little trilobite that's lost from its other trilobite. Well, they're not trilobites.
I would totally watch that.
They're arthropods. That would be pretty funny. And then the entire film could be about these Cambrian animals or trying to find its parent or whatever. And then right at the end, it finds its parent and then is buried by a mudslide and fossilized for perpetuity. You just wouldn't see it coming.
Really dark.
It would just be completely left field. It would be yay, done, burial.
Ending squid. It's like that. Has anyone seen the edit someone did of Toy Story 3? They showed their parents.
Yes.
They just shot, the bit where they're going down into the incinerator, and it just ended the film.
Yeah. Why does it always have to end on a happy ending? It should just be it should be real life.
There's an excellent suggestion in the chat. We need a monster movie where it turns out the deep sea trilobites aren't extinct.
Or maybe we could find out that all the world leaders have been trilobites all along, and they just unzip, and then trilobites But it's not one trilobite; it's loads of trilobites, hundreds of them. Just
well, like Men in Black.
Yes.
Oh.
Here's a good. Oh my gosh! Here is my favorite trilobite fact, and I can't take credit for this. Emma taught me this fact, but there
I better be right.
There is a trilobite that is a monotypic genus called Han Solo.
No way.
Yes, way.
No way.
Yeah.
So the species is Solo, so H Solo, and then the genus is Hans.
Yeah.
It's so cute. It's the only one.
That's amazing.
Although it's going to be a bummer when you find a second species.
Yeah. Oh, but that's the beauty of paleontology. Everything just goes into one genus.
You reckon you'd have Han Solo and Han Duo?
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, that's my favourite trilobite fact. Emma told me that the other day. I was very happy with that.
That was basically the entire of my master's degree in taxonomy. It wasn't like learning how to do taxonomy because, you know, that's boring. It's like finding the coolest species names. So that was the one I came up with one day.
Oh, here's the other mind-blowing fact as well that I learned the other day was...
We've got drawing going on. This is very good.
Is it a Diplocaulus?
It looks like we're gonna have it.
You want a gliding Diplocaulus?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sounds great.
So the other crazy, it's not really paleontology, but it kind of borders it, fact that I learned the other day was that, was it William Buckland who suggested the term Ordovician? So anyway, I think it was William Buckland, and he suggested the term Ordovician in like 1860 odd something. I can't remember off the top of my head. That's not unimportant. But he's in the 1800s. He suggested the term Ordovician for that time period, but it wasn't accepted by the British geological community until 1960. We just carried on using the Cambrian and just pushed it all the way up.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, it's mad.
I had no idea.
So, anyway. That was all part of the pub quiz on the Discord, if you're interested. No, I can't remember where the questions were, otherwise I would pull it up and actually look up for the facts, but I don't want to.
I'm trying to think of any other. I'm trying to think of any good paleo facts that I'm
How do
aware
his
of.
wings come off? How do his wings come off of his little?
Wow.
It's kind of like a what is it, a squirrel glider or sugar glider? The way it just
Like
have
a
these
little-
like massive hidden flaps.
Nice.
Or like an otter with like flaps of skin under their arms where they like hide rocks, and they just like when they pull their arms up, it's like big flap.
So just to clarify, because I don't want people to think that I'm stupid, it was Charles Lapworth, and he proposed Ordovician in 1879, but it wasn't until 1960 that it was officially accepted in Britain. That is mad.
That's also doubly bad on your part because Lapworth is like the resident historical geologist in Birmingham.
Yeah, I know. Shame on us.
Lapworth
Shame
Museum.
on us.
Shame.
Yeah.
This is looking good.
Yeah, I'm loving this
we have to, Chris. We have to keep talking. We can't just like have the anticipation just kill us. Like we're going silent because we're so excited about a drawing.
This is very cute.
I'm like.
I like how Diplocaulus is
little.
Oh, look at that! He's so fantastic. He looks quite regal.
Yeah, like a little cloak.
Little skin flaps.
I love how Diplocaulus has united us.
Yeah,
Diplocaulus is one of the cutest paleo animals, I think. Yeah. Is by far and away the most chipper-looking fellow.
What's the? Is it Colobor? I can never say his own. What's the big boy with the small head? Colobor. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I like the way Chris went. Blah, blah, blah. Because he couldn't say the name, he just went blah, 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 blah. That's what paleontologists do when we don't know the long words anymore. When in conversation we're just like, have you heard about biostratum, blah, blah, blah? And everyone else goes, oh yeah, I know what biostratum, blah, blah, blah is.
Anybody who doesn't know what blah 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 is, it's this guy.
Look at him.
He looks absolutely insane.
Do you know what that looks like to me? That looks like someone who's picked up a frog and just gone and it's just gone.
There's a part in Shrek where they blow up a frog as a balloon. That's basically what they've just created.
Yep. Exactly.
Someone in chat. I feel bad about answering questions in chat because we should be answering questions from donations. So please keep donating. But someone has said, if you throw a Diplocaulus, how well would it fly? And the obvious answer is it wouldn't fly well, but it would come back to you. Because it's a boomerang, isn't it? You just, and it would. If I've learned anything from Crocodile Dundee, is that it would come straight back to you.
That's the perfect pet, right? I've lost all of my dreams of having a Protoceratops as a pet. I now want a Diplocaulus as a pet because it'll always come back. How cute.
Oh, that was a very clever callback to the first thing we talked about today, which is what would be our favourite paleo pet.
You could have like a pond in the garden, like kind of like having like lots of axolotls or asholos, and then just like having loads of little Diplocauli or Diplocauluses. Oh, we're not going down that route. I don't know. Plural of Diplocaulus.
There's a very famous one of the earliest known fossil octopuses with soft tissues is called Coipia, and in D&D once I had a familiar which was a Coipia, which was great, except for I had to keep casting a spell to keep it wet all the time, which was just a nightmare in combat. And I was just paranoid that my pet Coipia would die. It didn't, but I died nearly by trying to keep it wet all the time. Because it was like you're fighting against a bugbear or something. You've got like 2 hit points left, and it's got like, it looks like it's about to die on your next attack. And then the DM's like, what are you going to do? And you're like, well, I could attack it and kill it, or I could cast Keep Wet on my Coipia. Grand Arbiter said, had you considered keeping it in a bucket? Well, obviously not. Because why? Because I'm not that clever.
Oh, look at this guy. He's got such angry eyes. Or are they sleepy eyes? No, they look more sleepy, actually.
Fortunately, create or destroy water is only a first level spell slot. Yes, I know. It was very fortunate.
Definitely sleepy eyes.
When we got like a blanket with a one of those hole, like what, I can't remember what the bloody, my mind's gone blank. The holes that, you know, in Chris, you know, in D&D with the piece of material with the hole in it that's magic.
No.
Did you ever come across one of those? Oh, okay. So you can, in D&D, there's I can't remember what the name of it is, but there's a type of like material that you can get with like a hole that's magic, so you can fold up the material, but it keeps the hole. So I just filled that with water and then put the Coipia inside it, and it was very happy. But at the time, I didn't have that, so I had to be like.
Has anyone else got any other questions or anything? If you donate, remember we can still use. There's still time. See my rabbits if you wish.
See the rabbits. Donate for rabbits.
Oh yeah, donate for rabbits.
Can confirm they are adorable.
Yeah, they're not fossils, but they are incredibly cute. And one of them is named after the wrong animal.
We started on a naming regime and then very quickly abandoned it. So one is called Hank Williams after the country singer, and then the other is called Mouse after Nice.
If only all paleontologists use the same naming conventions.
Man, I really hope I get the opportunity to name a species one day, because I will name it something stupid. It has to happen.
Han Solo.
Yeah.
That's not stupid. That's ingenious.
I know, that is
when you think about it.
I mean, the current trend is just to name it after a famous rock star so that you can just get press, right?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I always liked Irritator because that was quite entertaining.
Irritator. What? Like, that's a dinosaur, right?
Yeah.
What's its species name?
I don't know, actually.
I actually don't think I've ever heard what its species name is.
No.
Just Irritator, right?
Oh, apparently. Oh, there we go. See,
Yellow Panda wrote that in the chat before I could even finish the sentence.
On point, guys. Good
work. On it, Yellow Panda. Incidentally, why Yellow Panda? What happened to make it yellow? Or do I not want to answer that question? Ugh.
That is such a cool species name. Can we talk about this for a second? Like sometimes, like when you like have a genus like Diplocaulus, like again, I don't know off the top of my head what Diplocaulus' species name is, but it's a bit boring. You know, it's always a bit common. But Challengerii, hello. That's cool.
Pretty good.
That Diplocaulus drawing is coming on very well.
Photoshop says no.
Yeah.
It looks a lot like what I imagine a Diplocaulus tadpole would look like.
Photoshop has frozen. Photoshop says no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
He's doing so well.
Should we just mime it? Or just try and...
I
don't know how... If I just do like this...
piece of paper here.
Is this a Diplocaulus-y enough shape? I don't know.
Almost looks like you need to
Gliding
go...
Diplocaulus will show up on Twitter sometime, eventually.
Cool.
Today. Gliding Diplocaulus will show up on Twitter.
Nice.
Nice. Approval.
When Photoshop decides.
I think there has to be like... There needs to be a picture of like an Arthroplura, just like hamming it along through the underbrush, having a great time through the leaf litter, and then suddenly a Diplocaulus like falls out of a tree just straight on its head. Just bang.
Like a drop bear.
Like a drop bear. Oh dear.
Yeah. Any other last minute questions, and we'll run up to the hour slot. Anyone got anything they want to ask? Now is your time. Please donate. Continue to donate.
Yeah, keep donating. We're up to 40 people on the stream. That's quite a lot of people. Welcome to all of the newbies and the people who are joining us. You've missed
or the people who. I was going to say the people who've dropped in for art and have listened to our rambling for the last few minutes.
Yeah. I was literally going to ask, I was going to say, welcome to all of the new people and commiserations to the people that have stuck with us for an hour. Like, you've listened to us just utterly ramble about weird fossils and taphonomy.
No,
and
we
Soltepus.
were pretty good at the beginning, and we went a bit AWOL towards the end, but it's been quite fun.
We've talked about a lot of non-dinosaur things, actually, which I'm very proud of. Well done, everyone.
Yeah. Good job, Thomas.
Good. Just subverting.
Jack drew a substitute Diplocaulus.
Okay. In the chat. Oh, yes! Okay.
Oh, nice.
That I'm sorry, but we are gonna. That is trademark infringement of Salaticus crumb. That animal is one step away from getting.
That is amazing.
Want to buy some pondweed?
The eyes are perfect.
Yeah, that's quite intimidating. I wouldn't want to meet that guy in a carboniferous rainforest. Gosh.
No, that's amazing. Excellent play.
What a creature! Can you imagine? Is it? Well, hey, we don't know enough about their soft tissue. They could be like otters, where they have little pockets.
I was just saying that.
They could keep their favorite stones in there. Did you just say that? Did I miss that?
Yeah, I said it a little while ago that the flaps could have been like sugar gliders, where it's like constantly attached and you can kind of see it. Whereas otters, like you can only see it when they really like stretch their arms up, or if they are going rummaging in their pockets.
We have a donation to see bunnies.
Time
From
to get the raisin.
Oh, Chelsea, you're the top donator. Can we
other questions that we answered are just negligible now.
Can we make Chelsea like a badge for being top donator?
Okay.
The badge is seeing the bones, though.
Oh. This is like Jurassic Park. Are we going to see any rabbits on this tour?
There's one.
Oh my god, they are too cute.
Coming. Oh, here he is. Oh, boy.
Bennett.
He's just running to the head.
There he is. This is so the white and black one is Hank.
Guys, over here. Over here. Oh.
So what kind of environment would be best to make these into fossils? Well, the chat, I think the chat likes it. Such floof is one of the chat comments.
Hank.
They are pretty outrageous. I bet everyone who logged into the stream today did not expect they were going to see rabbits.
No, but this is good. Like these guys, they're very sweet. They're a bit nervous, but look, doing some spins. Yeah, we're gonna give them one more sultana each.
It's Illuminance. The other one's name is Hank and Mouse. Are the two rabbits?
No, Hank, not your butt. Come on.
That is a floof butt.
There we go.
Someone in chat has written, Diplocaulus is just a rabbit with calcified ears. Sounds like you have a very promising paleo career ahead of you.
There you go. There you go. Thank you very much for donating for buns.
Are the genes the knees? Is that due to bun damage, or is that they just nibbled on the denim?
They've destroyed a good amount of our lounge, but so there you go. They're doing some spins.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
Yeah, very sweet. Thank you very much, guys, for donating for buns. It's donating for a good cause, and rabbits are always great. So.
And they got sultanas out of the exchange as well.
Yeah,
so.
they're over the moon, really. Oh, excellent. Oh, nice. Oh, a bit of excitement.
I can't get that image out of my head of a Diplocaulus being a rabbit with calcified ears. That doesn't just fit well with me. Don't like the idea of it.
Wouldn't it be so funny if like these stem amphibians had like the weirdest soft tissues that we just can't sit, like they don't find preserved. They have massive ears. And just
it's a really simple example of an elephant. Like you'd never get the trunk from the fossil record unless you had soft tissue. Like how, if you try to explain that to somebody having seen their skeleton all your life, that actually this animal had this big, massive tube coming from its face, nobody would believe you.
Yeah, this is like the hippos, right? This is the classic one of their skulls looking absolutely bonkers and just nothing like what they look like in real life. Another big issue with paleontology and taxonomy.
Yeah. I always wondered how do we not know that some dinosaurs didn't have like big turkey wattles? You know, like big like how do we not know that some dinosaurs like had like weird facial soft tissue bits? I don't know. Who knows?
It's pretty feasible.
Yeah, someone's written in chat, reminds me of the Brachiosaurus on Twitter with massive snoods attached to its nostrils. Yeah, how do we know that they didn't have like tapir like faces? Like just little like.
Well, this was a big theory at one point, right? There was a whole thing. I've seen loads of old paleo art of Brachiosaurus having these little weird tubey noses. But yeah, I think they'd look great. I think it would be cool.
I like the alternative. I'm still thinking about this like calcified ears thing, but the comment where that wait.
Oh my god, we've broken Emma. We've been on for too long. Emma's broken.
Bunnies are fluffy Diplocauluses. I'm with that one.
Bunnies are fluffy Diplocauluses.
Or Diplocauli, as somebody said up to Bob. As I said, I'm not getting into this like whole plural thing, or Thomas will start talking about cephalopods. So we're not going there.
I don't get that angry about it. I'm pretty chill when people come to the incorrect plural of octopus. I just get very upset when you tell me that they have tentacles, because that is incorrect. Whereas like the octopus nomenclature is confused, and because it's so confused, there isn't really a right answer on it.
Octopies.
No, that's the only one it's definitely not.
I told you.
All right, should we wrap things up here and let the next guest on? Give them a bit of time to set up.
That sounds good.
I just want to say a huge thanks to everyone who's been watching and especially donating, and especially the people who organised this and are continuing to organise it over the rest of the weekend. I mean, it's going on till the early hours of Monday morning, I think. So yeah, I hope everyone sticks around and tunes in at different points during the day. But thank you so much for sitting and listening to us ramble.
And thank you for joining us today.
No, it's been a real pleasure, and yeah, thanks for organising for something that is a very, very needed and justly deserved cause.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a huge thank you to everyone. And if you have any other questions, we're on Twitter. My handle is slightly embarrassing at Princess Quatris. Thomas, I can't remember what yours is.
Mine is at Thomas Clements because I am very imaginative and, you know, whatever. I very rarely tweet about fossils though, so.
Emma, you're
Mine's my name, Emma Dunne, but Dunne without the vowels because somebody took it and doesn't use it, and I'm very angry about that. So it's Emma and then DNN.
Yeah. So if you want to follow us, please do. Thank you again to the organisers, and thank you everyone who's donated. It is a really good cause. I hope that all of the rest of the things are fun this afternoon and tomorrow.
Yourselves. Yeah, have a wonderful time, and yeah, thanks for being so wonderful and putting so many good questions in. That was really fun, and the chat's been great to read. So top work, everyone. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll leave you be for the next people, but have fun.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Bye.
Bye.